I was there from 1952 to 1955, and I have this vague memory of arriving there in the dark, and I think it might have been the cold weather. It might have been the winter. I'm not sure. And we moved into this small town called Swift River. I find out later that it had about 100 people, its population. My dad went up there for the big money, and with isolation pay, I think he got paid $228 or something. Or it could have been 300, something like that, but it wasn't very much in today's terms. And the school that I went to was a one-room school, and the teacher taught grades ones to from grade 1 to 9. And so that was an interesting experience. And it was the one-room school was just surrounded by a bunch of trees, and it would kind of be almost like a mobile trailer that was set up, but it wasn't. It was a small shack. And I don't know how many students we might have had, maybe 15 to 20. But anyway, that was an interesting experience. And most of the activities in terms of playing were sort of self-generated. If it was winter, you took advantage of the snow with sleighs, and in the summer, you'd run, jump, and play. And then you'd have track and field days towards the latter part of the summer. But of course, the next area was 100, 200 miles away. So even though you might have won a ribbon for coming first or second, there might have only been 3 people in the event, but didn't realize that, so the ribbon still happened. So it's kind of... And every once in a while, a wild animal, a bear, would wander into your backyard and tip over your garbage can. I remember the neighbors were very friendly. And again, there was no sort of community league, so people just did whatever they did. They organized a curling game at the one sheet ice that was in town, or there was a movie, and you'd get these old Super 8 films and plug them in at some small facility. But I don't remember there ever being a lot. But you were surrounded by mountains, but never climbed any mountains. And the other really interesting thing is spend a lot of time outdoors. Like in the summer, we'd go fishing amongst the mosquitoes and the black flies. But very tranquil. In fact, I'd like to go back to the Yukon just to see what it's like. There was another place called Watson Lake, which we moved to, which is just, I think, north of the BC-Yukon border. And Watson Lake was bigger. I think there was a army base not far by. There was a residential school, an Indian residential school. I remember that. There was a big log hotel, and there was just more activity, but it still wasn't that big a place. I think in Watson Lake you could actually buy groceries occasionally from somewhere if you ran out of something. But in Swift River, I believe that we got our groceries from Dawson Creek every 3 weeks. What's really, for my parents, my mom in particular, meal planning was important because you'd eat really well in the first week or two. And then by the end, you were just cobbling together meals, whatever you could. So, on reflection, especially now, you can go down the street, but at your corner store, get stuff what you want, which we would have had to plan for. So, those are the kind of memories that come back to me.